So it's just a G pentatonic. It's John Denver's, West Virginia. Was a totally pentatonic. As usual, I'm going to start on the root E box where I am down here. E-shaped C. Alright, so what we have here is, up here would be, you're going to have to look at this. We know we're going to substitute for the half diminished. So here's your half diminished. We're going to start on root. And by the way, let's focus on this. Modal chord shape pen scale circles. The one major mode is going to be the E shape and the D shape. And notice I've got my fret nut here, so I can do these shapes here. Then to the G minor E shape. Okay, the G minor shape there is going to be like this. G minor 7th. That line means half shape, and we're going to hit the G minor 7th there. G minor 7th shaped D minor. That also goes to an E minor shaped D minor. Okay, but that's not a 7th. That's a regular old E minor shaped D minor. Then we go to a half shape A minor 7th, E minor. Go to a G shaped. Now we got a full shaped E minor there. Then we have a shaped 4th and a G shaped 4th, which we don't want to make that shape. We have a half shaped C 5th. We're going to do its 7th, which is a dominant chord. Go to the A shape there. For the 6th, we're going to do a half shaped D minor chord, D minor 7th, into a C minor, a C minor 7th, actually a C minor arpeggio shaped A minor there. Okay, and then we go to our half diminished shape, but now we're going to employ these guys here. So that's how that's going to go. That's how that's going to play. So again, it would be the half C shape, and we want to lose the 5th. That's not going to be easy. What's the easiest thing to do? We really want to do at that point, the half shape, is lose its 7th. So we want to lose the root. Drop it down. So we're just going to drop this note right there. That is the shape we're selecting to do the half shape G minor 7th half shape D minor in the key of C, and dropping its root down. That's how we're going to end up doing that one. In that case. So over here we've got the same thing. We've got the A box, and we're going to make the substitutions here. Here's the D box. We go around. These are the cage shapes for the D box, the DC box. And here's your substitution. So let's look at that. Let's look at our D box because it's easy. Now we jumped around in 4ths. We're back here at the D box. Now we have a D-shaped C going to a C-shaped C. I'm just showing you it, but we're going to be really focusing on the C. So that's the whole focus about modal playing, is to be able to make use of these chords around the capo or the fret nut. Capo, you've got a few choices to put it into a decent key for yourself and a decent playing range, wherever you're comfortable playing. Again, A for the 5th. And then the C minor 7th for the 6th. So this is a C minor shaped A minor in the D box. And of course we have the A minor shaped A minor in the next box up. D goes to C as you're going up in the cage. Now, to get to the 7th here, we're going to either modify an E minor shape here. So what are we going to do? If we had an E minor 7th up here, what would we do? We just talked about drop that 7th to its 6th, okay, which is the root of the 7th mode. That's a pretty good way to do it, or we could just take that A7 shape there, right here. So we've already lost the 5, and then we have to add the 6 to lose the 5 that's on the A string. So that's how it works. We can go around and around and around. So now we know that now this is the G shape. Now we know we're going to look for these cage symbols. Okay, so this is where it gets interesting. We've worked up to this place. Let's look at that D box and focus in on that D box here. Now we have the Dorian here. Okay, the Dorian box. I still have the capo on here. So it's D shape. We go up for the 5th, down for the 4th. We can just to focus the left and put aside the half diminished, because we know all we have to do to get to the half diminished is get to these shapes here, and we're going to just do a slight adjustment in the caged framework. So we're going to be working in the string shape labels here in the caged framework. So let's just keep what we're doing. We start in the AG shape. There's our AG shape right there. For the 2nd minor, we go to the half shape C in the A shape. So we're going to the left to go, we're going up a pentatonic scale from A to C. Okay, got a little tinder there. Okay, for the 3rd, well, we would go from the C shape to the D shape there. So we've got our, you just find the shape you're on and take it one shape at a time. So for the 3rd, we want to go from the C shape to the D shape, right there, C shape to the D shape. When you're going up in a modal scale, okay, you're pretty much going with that shape D box like here. Isn't that interesting? Now remember, we don't want to make the chord adjustment for the half diminished. We just want to recognize how to get to the 2nd and how to get to the 5th. Now the 5th is easy. Okay, so in the D cage, it's a D shape 1, it's a G shape 4th right there, and then it's an A shape 5th. That's nice when you're going around the wheel, but how do we find it up here? We go up 1 string for the 5th string shape level label, down 1 string for the 4th. You start on the D shape, we'll go to the 5th for the A shape. Now you know we can go to the half diminished 7 by just dropping that and adding the 6. Go back to the D shape. I'll try to keep the cursor on where we're at. Now one problem with this method is sometimes we might want to go out of the cage, but we don't have to. If we're on the D shape here, we can go to just find another D on the same shape. We're going to find some advantages of using the labels from the cage that we're doing. That C minor is going to be the 6th shape, because to the 6th shape is the C minor shape. So we're going down like that. We're going to go up in the cage word, so D goes to C, okay? So this is where it gets interesting. So here's D, it's backwards. Yeah, it's always backwards. When we jump around and just talk about where we're going, there's 2 problems. Where are we going? Where do you want to go? What do you want to play? Yeah, well, what do you want to play? Where do you want to go is important. Just going up and down gets boring because we're going to go to the right and the left. We're going to have to say we just want to go up the pentatonic scale. So we go D major, E minor, but then we have to find an E minor up here. E minor to G minor, G minor to G major, stay on that shape, G major to A minor. Okay, A minor goes back to C. Alright, so we got the A here going to C. This is in pentatonic, so A minor goes to C major, the root scale. Okay, so let's try another one. Okay, we've got plenty to work with here. We have the G box, we have the C box. If I put my capo on the 3 here, now we're where you are on your fretboard. So you're going to have to try and see this as good as you can. We're going to start here. I'm going to zoom in for you anyway. C up to the 5th, down to its 4th. So we've outlined C up to its 5th, down to the 4th. That's a barred E shape right there. Okay, now, what shape would be the A minor? That would be a head and cage, so that would be the A minor. It would be the A minor shape, because in the key of C, in the C box, shapes are shapes. They are what they are. A minor shape right there. Now, suppose we want to drop that down. Go to this E minor shape right there, right? How do we get there? Well, guess what? E minor is the 5th of A minor. So if we're at this A minor, we can go up to the 5th of its shape, and that'll be the E minor shape. Just remember, you got to change that E to an E minor.